Hello, this is Matt Willis with CampFridge No.4. I'm doing another instruction video on how to pull these cooling units out of these Rm2852s and Rm2652s. This is one of the things I wanted to show you. To take this out properly, first thing, you can pop these out, these little retainers for this rack, and slide them over and then slide this out. And then also, the reason for that is, on one of my previous videos I was showing you about this and how this tears, especially when you lay it on the floor and pull it out. You can't see this. By the time you're done, what will happen is this will be all tore out, and like I said, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you're not going to like to see it, and if you do this for a living, you're not. So this is that bent screwdriver I was telling you all about. Basically, you're just going to bring it in here, okay, and you're going to work your way over. Let me get on this side, makes it a lot easier to show you. And just pull it out very carefully, work your way through, okay. Just keep working. On a hot day, it's a lot easier to get rid of that double-sided tape. Okay, one of the other things I want to tell you when you're doing it yourself, big time, is make sure that the refrigerator just was not turned off. Because what happens when you do that is it will literally, the thermostat will act like glue, and what it'll do is it'll end up causing you problems where you will have one heck of a time getting your cooling unit out. Okay, it's almost all the way out. Now you can see this is free here. Very carefully, the double-sided tape, like I said, on a hot day it's better, but this is what's great, because if you do this first, okay, if you do this, now this is loose, so when you pull this out, this isn't going to look bad, especially when you put it back in, okay? So whether you lay it down, take the doors off, like I told y'all, I don't do that. This is what I do. Now I'm going to close the doors, and I'm going to rotate it around this way. And the reason being is I want to show y'all, use this dolly from Harbor Freight. Okay, this is one of the other things I wanted to show you. Is, let me take this off. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, now I built this fancy tool back here. If you do this for a living, you can actually make something like this. And what it does is I hook right here on the evaporator where it comes out. I got a piece of all thread, and believe it or not, everything you see here you can buy at Home Depot. You don't have to go to a steel yard to do it. Steel yards are cheaper, but with this, what happens is all you got to do is take this crescent wrench right here, okay, and if you pull this just very gently, you can hear it popping, and if you do it careful and slow, you will separate this, and if you see it, here's where it's going from, okay, and if you wait a little bit, it will literally pop the back out. Now again, I do this by myself. My wife helps me, but I wanted to show you this. Another way is you can take a piece of angle iron right here, and this little piece right here that I'm pointing to right here, you can take this piece here, and you can actually put a piece of angle iron turned around here, holding in this area, and take a flat pry bar, okay, you can get it at any hardware store, stick it in there, and carefully just wedge it out. And again, you got to do this when the fridge has not been running all night, so that you don't have the freezer section frozen, and it will literally come out 9 times out of 10 fine. And what makes that is you don't have to dig into it like everybody tells you to do. If you dig into it, sometimes you might dig too far or hit the wrong spot. So anyway, I'll show you this after I take it out, how nice it looks. Okay, Matt Willis, CampFridge.com. Happy camping. I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, this is Matt, CampFridge.com. I just pulled that unit out, okay, and yeah, lifting them up, huffing and puffing. Anyway, I wanted to show you, this is what my puller looks like. The right side slides back and forth. You can take any Dometic out except for the side-by-sides with this. And here is the cooling unit right here. Okay, intact on this side, not broken up, ready to go back to the rebuilder. And here's the other side, not all chewed up. Didn't take hours to do, it took actually minutes. Okay, that's a little bit of tidbit information. Anyway, I got to get to work. This is one of the last units I'm doing before I get out of the rebuild business, in lieu of the new cooling unit business. So anyway, this is Matt, CampFridge.com. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about, first of all, this was after I had foamed it and pulled it out, just to show you how easy it is. And there's the great stuff on the floor. I'll drive it up, obviously, but that's how easy it came off of here. And it's all smooth. Don't forget to put a thin layer of turtle wax on there and just buff it off like you were buffing a car. It'll make it as good as new, so you don't have to retape it. And a couple of the other things, on some of you that own Winnebagos, you see this little bracket here? This little bracket, it usually happens when you look on the side wall, when you open up the access panel and you've got those big black metal plates here, and you've got a 3/8/16 bolt with a 9/16 hex on both sides, and you have to unscrew those. This plate right here, it will actually go, hold on a sec here, it will actually go and be bolted right here. And the only way you can get to it is through the roof access. It'll actually be stuck, here we go, it'll actually be bolted to the back here, and the only way you get to it is by this baby right here, going up on the roof, removing the 4 screws, and you can either, some of the screens will come off real easy, others won't. Only on Winnebagos that I've seen them, and I've seen them on ones as late as 2008, so they're still putting them on. They'll be down here on the side. And the other thing is, when you look, you see this little plate here? This thing, some of them will be metal, this one is, some of them are just a thin piece of plywood. Make sure that's back there, because for convection cooling and getting it to cool proper, it helps that all the cool air that rises is forced between your absorption coils. Okay, big thing with this. Let me tell you something. If you have a Winnebago and it's rock solid in there, and you swore that you've taken out all the screws, all the hidden screws, once in a while, if you see this black adhesive here they use to put it together, sometimes it will also be glued to this. They put these rigs together so fast, this doesn't have a time to set. And I actually did a Norcold last week where it took me 4 hours to get it out. Okay, it had the top bracket, it had the side bolts, and you know, I expect that. What I didn't expect was the bottom of the fridge to actually be glued, because of that black stuff, to it. And these, you know, these refrigerators, they're fragile. The other thing, if you don't have the fancy puller, which I don't expect you to build, this is the pry bar right here, and I actually just duct tape this 1x1 1/8 inch thick angle iron, and what you do is you slip it right where that little bracket is, and you pull it very gently. And the reason you do it very slowly is because if you hold it there for a few minutes, you will start to hear it pop, and it will actually release. You may not get it all the way, and in that case, you can actually use, I call these pry spatulas, but you get them, again, Home Depot. They're really good scrapers, and you can actually, you know, stick it in here and pry it a couple of places. It is so much easier than digging in those things. And I've actually had do-it-yourselfers that swap these out, where they've punched holes in those tubes trying to get them out. And every time you go to pry back here, I know there's there's a plastic plate, but some people have lost them. When you pry back here, you can actually dent this, which will dent inside. If you got your plastic cover, fine. If you don't, it just bothers you. And what I was talking about turning it off, obviously, if your fridge has failed completely, you're going to, it's going to be failed, and it will, this won't be frozen. But some of you people that live in your rigs, your fridges will stop working, but your freezer will still be ice cold. If you just turn it off and try to get these things out, like I said, that thermastic, it will make it so hard to get out. Even if you take and dig all this out and you start prying on it, it will be so frozen back here because these things are such well insulated that you will still have a tough time getting them out. It doesn't make it easy. Just let it sit, let it warm up. You're gonna have to pack your food in an ice chest anyway for that, but do that, and you'll be okay. Okay, I mean it'll make your life a lot easier. Let me tell you. One of the things else I wanted to say, if any of you have any ideas for more how-to videos, or if you want to have any questions, if you have any questions at all about RV fridges, I've done a lot of these throughout the years, and I've been all over Southern California working on fridges. One more thing before I stop this video. Another thing that I've seen is this insulation here. What happens to it is throughout the years, the adhesive will fall off, and I've actually seen the insulation drop down on top of the condenser and overheat your fridge. So if you're going to put it back in, and some of you are in such tight spots, you don't have the affordability to pull the fridge completely out. All you can do in the hallways is turn them on a 90-degree angle and do the work. And by the way, for you people that say, oh, let's just lay it down on the floor, try to lay one down on the floor when they build the RV around the refrigerator. It's not easy to do. Drop me lines. I pretty much know every darn little trick to pull a fridge out or to swap out a cooling unit. I'll show you on videos. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing rebuilds in a few days anymore. I'm strictly going for my new Norcold L1200s, and then I'll be doing the 8s and the 6s on the Norcolds, and finally, last but not least, the Rm2852s and 2652s. I will not be doing anything older than that. Anyway, have a great day. Bye-bye.